characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids.
Hello friends, I am Aryan and welcome to our channel Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. In our channel, you will get to hear true and scary stories every Tuesday and Saturday. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Then, let's do not take much time and start our story quickly. Friends, today's story is about a girl from Jaisalmer district of Rajasthan, whose name is Kanchan. So let's now hear the story from Kanchan's point of view. Hello friends, my name is Kanchan and I belong to Jaisalmer district of Rajasthan. Today I want to tell you about a true incident of my life that I have not been able to forget till date. Actually, you all must have heard about Kuldhara village in Jaisalmer district of Rajasthan, which is known as the ghost village. Some of the scary incidents related to that I have not forgotten to this day, that I still remember, nor am I too scared. Today I want to tell you all about the incident that happened to me. The incident took place when I was around 16 years old and lived with my family in Jaisalmer district. At that time, people used to marry off their daughters at an early age. Anyway, my family was also looking for a relationship for me, and finally my relationship was also fixed. Preparations for the wedding were going on in the house. By the way, my Babusa used to open a small shop in our own city and work as a dyer of cloths, so that we used to live properly because this work was very good at that time. I used to help with my mother at home, and in the evening I would go to a house not far away in our locality to get milk. At that time, when I used to pass by the road, some stray boys would always come and stare at me. By the way, I was very young and I was very beautiful to look at, so their eyes did not take their eyes off me. Even he didn't say anything but tried to chase me, because of which I was very scared. I wanted to tell this to my family, but I thought that if my Babusa listened, I would say something to those boys. Then there will be fights, the matter will grow, it will be an unnecessary disgrace. Because of which I could not tell anything to my family members. But I made such an excuse that I am afraid of a dog on the way. In such a situation, I stopped bringing milk. Now my brother used to go to get milk because my mom had a problem with her leg, so she could not go that far. One day my brother had gone to another city for some work. There was a problem with the mother's leg. My father was at his shop. In such a situation, I had to go to get milk. By the way, it was raining that day, so the shops in our locality were closed early and left. So some people were sitting inside the shops. It was raining very heavily, so I went to get milk with an umbrella, and when I was returning with milk, the path I was passing through was completely deserted. Anyway, there was very little crowd during the day, but due to the rain, there was no one today, when suddenly a car came to a stop near me. Seeing this, I could understand that some of them grabbed me by the hand and pulled me in. Seeing all this happening, I was shocked. I would have screamed I could understand something. Before that, they squeezed my mouth and tied my hands and feet to my mouth in such a way that I could not scream or make any movement to run away. When I looked around nervously, I was very nervous because these were the same 5 boys who kidnapped me, who used to stare at me every day. They tried to chase me. Even at my house, they used to try to keep track of everything I came and went. Now seeing them in front of my eyes, I was very scared. Now the ground slipped under my feet. I struggled to save myself, but she was unable to do anything because her hands and feet were tied. My voice was stuck in my throat because my mouth was also tied. I started crying. At the same time, after kidnapping me, they started running their car on the road at high speed. At that time, there was darkness all around. My heart rate was up. I was very nervous, thinking that I don't know what will happen to me. My family members were also worried about what would go through their hearts when they saw me not reaching home. What should I do to protect myself? He couldn't understand anything in time. Due to panic, the ability to think and understand was gone. The same beasts were kidnapping me and laughing at my condition by looking at me in front of their eyes. Then a boy looked at the other boy and said, "Man, what a wonderful thing you have come to. Today life will become heaven." Then the boy said, "I told you before, this girl from the Trilok is amazing. To tell you the truth, it's a bud. Then a boy laughed and said, "Now it will be even more fun." So the boy named Kailash said, "And Naveen, you like such tests very much, don't you? So today you will get that test too." Saying this, they were talking to each other. At the same time, his words were scaring me a lot, but I also got to know the names of those 5 boys from the way they spoke. Their names were Naveen, Kailash, Trilok, Narendra, and Devraj. At that time, I was crying and praying to God to save my honor and life. I was very scared. At the same time, they started talking among themselves about where to take me, where there is no danger. It was night anyway. In such a situation, Shravan said, "Why don't Kuldhara go?" Then Trilok said, "Hey man, do you know about the people there? What kind of things do they say?" Narendra said, "What about the people? They make such things, but there is no fear of anything." Now Devraj said, "Yes, Kuldhara will be fine. People say anything like this, but there is someone who hears it, screams and stops us, saying that there will be no one. What fun will it be?" They started talking obscene things among themselves. Now Kailash said, "Yes, let's go there." As they talked, they began to lead me to that side. I was trembling. In such a situation, when they forcibly took me there was darkness all around. It must have been around 7:30 p.m. After reaching there, he did not stop his car at the gate of Kuldhara village and stopped it on the side so that no one would have any suspicion. Then after getting out of the car, now he grabbed my hand and started dragging me out of the car. Then a boy said, "Hey man, take it out with love. And anyway, now it cannot run away from us, and there is no use of shouting, so open your hands and feet." Now he opened my hands and feet, so I cried and said, "For God's sake, let me go. I fold my hands in front of you." Saying this, she started pleading in front of them. But seeing my condition, seeing me crying, they started laughing and then said, "Don't worry, I will leave you with your family. But yes, entertain us for tonight. And yes, come back whenever you call again, there will be no problem." Saying this, they forcibly grabbed me and dragged me to the deserted ruins of the village. I was trembling. Due to panic, it was as if no sound was coming out of the throat. Because what will happen to me now? Thinking of this, my mind had stopped working. The same beasts were laughing at me. Then Naveen said, "I can't wait anymore, man." Saying this, they looked at me with devouring eyes, and I was very nervous and started to slip back. Then they started coming towards me. Now I let go of my hand and started running away. She started crying and screaming to save herself. She started screaming, but there was no one there to hear my voice in the ruins at that time. Seeing me running away, they were running after me to catch me and saying that there is no use in shouting and running away. You won't be able to do anything.
You won't be able to save yourself. At that time, you can understand what is going on with someone whose honor and life are at stake. That's what I was feeling. That's when I slipped and fell because there was a bit of mud because of the rain. Seeing me fall like this, they started laughing, and the 5 boys were about to pounce on me at the same time while talking obscenely when I closed my eyes as I screamed nervously. Then a strange kind of voice of a lot of people started to be heard at once. It seemed like a lot of people were crying, screaming, running around at the same time. A strange sound was echoing from all around. Hearing this, I opened my eyes nervously. Hearing the sound she was echoing, the boys also looked around in surprise. At that time, it seemed as if someone was shouting loudly in those ruins, and a lot of people were coming running towards us from those ruins. But nothing was visible. Seeing this, the boys looked around. Then Trilok said nervously, "What kind of voice is this? No one lives here in this deserted village. So what does it sound like then?" Then suddenly the sound stopped. Seeing this, Trilok said, "Ah man, there is nothing. I think we must have had some such confusion. Look, there is nothing now." Then Kailash said, "That's it man, but there is something. I don't think we should stay here any longer." Hearing this, Devaraj said, "Just do it. Do what you have come for. You are bent on spoiling the mood a lot." Saying this, they looked at me again with lustful eyes, and I was very scared. Then there was the sound of anklets ringing. When the sound of anklets rang, the boys looked at that side with surprise. At that time, I was lying on the ground trembling, looking at a woman who must be around 20 years old. The veil was coming towards us. The sound of his anklet ringing was heard by everyone. Seeing that woman coming at that time, I myself was surprised that who is this woman in this desolate and deserted place? The woman was walking towards us. When she came a little closer, we saw that she was dressed in red. She was dressed just like a bride. Seeing this, the boys looked at him in surprise. Then Kailash said, "Who is this?" So Narendra said, "Let's see." At the same time, the boys went to him and started looking at him with devouring eyes. Then Trilok hurriedly said, "I don't feel right." Then Narendra stared at the woman and smiled and said, "Don't you feel right?" Then Shravan looked at the woman and said, "Just show your face." But the woman didn't show her face or say anything. The bus came and stood in front of them. Seeing this, the boys looked at each other with a smile. There was a look of lust in his eyes. When the woman started to leave, they blocked her way. Now Shubham said, "Why is there such a hurry? Just meet us too. Who are you here to meet? Have you run away from the wedding because of a friend?" But there was no reply. "No, I didn't feel like your friend, but I started flirting with him saying that we are there." Then Trilok said, "He will not show his face like this." Saying this, he stretched out his hand to that side, and as soon as he lifted the veil of the woman, the scene in front of him was very terrifying and frightening. Seeing what I was seeing at that time, my voice was stuck in my throat. Because she was not a beautiful woman, as soon as she lifted the veil of the three worlds, there was a terrifying, scary witch whose whole face was white. His eyes were big and sunken. It looked like blood was dripping from the lips. At the same time, seeing that scary witch, the screams of those boys came out. Seeing this, the witch laughed terribly, and the sound of her laughing echoed all around. Seeing this, the boys were shocked. When they started running away from there in a panic, the witch extended her hand from there, which became very long in sight. Now the screams of those boys echoed all around. They were running away from there. I was watching the witch laugh horribly. Soon, he reached out his hand and grabbed Naveen and waved him in the air. Seeing all this happening to him, Naveen was so terrified that he started crying and screaming loudly. Seeing this, his friends were very scared. At that time, I didn't even have the courage to get up and run away, just lying there in agony, looking at everything. Then the witch's head swung around like a robot. Joe was laughing horribly and picked up Shravan with her hand and threw him aside. As soon as he threw up, a strange sound began to come from all the ruins. Now when the witch moved towards Naveen, Naveen started crying and trembling and asked him to leave him with folded hands to save his life. But the witch came to him. At that time, my eyes went to the witch's feet, and her legs were upside down, seeing which my voice stuck in my throat. I was just too scared to look at those feet. At that time, it seemed like I would faint right now, but she was still looking at him nervously. Reaching the same Shravan, the witch smiled strangely and looked at him, and then jumped up and sat on his chest. As soon as she sat on his chest, turned her face upwards and started screaming strangely, her teeth became very long. I looked at him nervously. I couldn't understand anything. My brain seemed to have stopped working. It looked like I was going to fall unconscious right now. You can't even imagine what Naveen must be going through at that time, because he was seeing his death in front of his own eyes. Then the witch stuck her teeth in the neck of Trilok. Then Naveen's scream echoed all around. He was writhing in pain, and the witch drank all his blood. Along with it, she started ruthlessly tearing him apart. Seeing his friend die like this in front of his eyes, Shravan's friends were very scared. Just then, as soon as they started to run away from there, panicking and crying, there was a strange sound from all sides, and suddenly some shadows were seen coming out of those ruins. When they got a little closer, I saw that they were ghosts, vampires, and witches. They surrounded Shravan's friends from all sides, making strange sounds. I just stood to one side. She was nervously watching it all. None of them looked at me. either a ghost, witch, or vampire. At the same time, they started folding hands to save their lives. Shravan was completely eaten by the witch, because of which the witch's whole face was stained with blood, and blood was scattered all around. Blood was dripping from her hands, from her mouth, everywhere. Then the boys were very frightened to see such a horrible sight in front of their eyes. One or two of them even urinated in their pants in a panic. Now, to save their life, they were looking around that they could see a way out of there, and they could escape from there and save their lives. In such a situation, they started screaming in fear to save their lives to escape from there, but there was no one to listen to their call. Then they saw a path on one side and ran away from there. Seeing this, I also got up and hid near a ruin and looked at it nervously, as if the boys were lost in those ruins. They were running around and screaming to save their lives. Their voice echoed all around, but tired and defeated, they were coming back to the same place where the same ghosts, witches, and vampires had gathered, who were saying strange voices. Then only they will know what they must be going through when they see all of them in front of their eyes. Then suddenly a vampire swooped down on the Trilock. Then his scream echoed all around, and the vampire tore his chest with his terrible nails, due to which his painful screams echoed all around, and his breath stopped in an instant. Now the vampire stuck his teeth in his chest and started drinking his blood, and soon all the three worlds pounced on him and ate him in a moment. Now his skeleton was lying there. Seeing all this happening in front of my eyes, my voice was buried in my throat. I was trembling. Seeing this, the three who were left were trembling as if they had lost their senses. Seeing this horrible scene in front of my eyes, I also began to feel that now this ghostly witch would not leave me alive. They would tear me apart in the same way, because of which I was getting very scared. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have the courage to run away from there. I was thinking that if any witch or anyone caught my eye, they would chew me alive. I can't even stand here. I was trembling at the thought of this. Now I looked up and I heard a strange sound. I saw a phantom staring at me that was completely black. It had big, scary eyes. It looked like a horn on the head.
The nails of the hands were too long. When he started looking at me with devouring eyes, I got very scared and ran away and hid in another ruin. Now I couldn't see the ghost anywhere, but I was very scared. Nervously, she looked at all the ghosts and spirits that had gathered. Then Narendra, towards whom those ghosts started moving, he became very scared and stumbled and fell down, trying to escape at that time to save his life. Now he was so scared that he started screaming in panic. Then his screams started echoing all around. At that time, all the ghosts and spirits were also screaming strangely. Everything was very terrifying and scary. Then a phantom reached out and grabbed his neck and broke it by twisting it. In an instant, Narendra's breath stopped there. Now everyone was ruthlessly tearing it apart. Now only Kailash and Devraj were left who could see death in front of their eyes, because they understood that now they would not escape from these ruins. They thought they were deserted, but what they did know was that ghosts live here. They brought me here to take my life, to rob my dignity. But little did they know that they would have to pay the price of coming here by giving their lives. Kailash and Devraj started looking at each other tremblingly. Then, making a last attempt, they ran away from there, but as if lost somewhere in those ruins. They didn't know where to go, but still they were running here and there to save their lives. At the same time, a strange voice echoed in the ruins that were deserted and deserted. It looked very scary now. That's when I felt like someone was staring at me. As soon as I realized this, I looked up and saw a witch sitting on the wall of the ruin, which was very scary. Seeing him, I was blown away. I began to tremble. At the same time, there was a strange smile on the face of that witch. She stared at me. So to save my life, I got up and started running away. At that time, there was a scream in the ruins. A phantom seemed to be coming out of nowhere. Witches from somewhere, vampires from somewhere. But to my surprise, I was surrounded by those ghosts. She was running into the ruins, but none of the ghostly witches tried to harm me or look at me. Then suddenly, Devraj came into the hands of those witches. Now the screams of Devraj were echoing all around in front of my eyes that those witches and vampires attacked him and started tearing him apart. Seeing this, I was running away terrified. When I saw the exit door from the village, I ran towards the door to save my life. Devraj's screams were now echoed in those ruins. Now Kailash was left. When I reached the door of the village, I heard Kailash's screams too. But in my panic, I didn't even look back. I was so scared that I still don't know what was the power that kept me awake even after seeing such a horrible sight in front of my eyes. But as soon as I reached out of the village gate, I fell unconscious at a short distance. When I regained consciousness in the morning, I saw that I was on the hospital bed. My family, the policemen, and some people from my locality were also standing there and talking to each other. Seeing myself there at that time, I could not understand how I came here. Then as soon as I remembered the things of the night, I started to panic and tremble. So some policemen came to me and started questioning me, but I couldn't say anything because of my nervousness, because I was remembering everything I saw in front of my eyes that night, because of which I was very scared. I was looking around nervously because I felt that those ghosts would come and surround me from all sides and tear me apart and eat me too. That's when my Babusa came to me. There were tears in his eyes. My mother was also crying like she was crazy. After all, we can understand what happened to parents whose young daughter has suddenly disappeared and is found in an unconscious state, only those with whom all this happens. Then my brother again put his hand on my head as a blessing and looked at me and said, "Don't worry. Tell me what happened. How did you get there?" By the way, my family was very fond of me and had full faith in me in that time and even today, where people do not ask the truth to their daughter and start beating the drum of their honor. My family was the only one worried about me at that time, where people thought that I must have eloped with someone. But my family had faith in me. Hearing their words, seeing their suffering, I came to know that they were looking for me like crazy only after my sudden disappearance after I was kidnapped. And in such a situation, they had also reported to the police. Then a man who was going towards our locality was going from a road near Kuldhara village. He knew my Babusa to our family. When he saw me lying unconscious there, he gathered the people around. I was taken to the hospital. After this, I went and informed my family. Now my family came running there. The police were also informed about this. So the police also arrived. But now seeing me in my senses, everyone was questioning me question after question. Everyone wanted to know what had happened to me. But I was too nervous. Then a nurse came and said that let him rest now. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. No one asked anything, and I lay down on the bed to sleep. Now she was looking nervously at her family. I wanted to tell everything, but couldn't say anything because of nervousness. Then the nurse asked me to eat something, and my mother fed me some porridge. After that, I was given a pill and I fell asleep in a short time because of the effect of the medicine. When I was asleep, I started having a nightmare right there. There was screaming all around, because of which I was very nervous even in sleep. Then my mother held my hand and said, "Son, I am with you." Seeing my mother with me, I fell asleep again. Now when I woke up, it was evening. The policemen were also there. Everybody was looking at me. Now my mother sat next to me and put her hand on my head. So I dared to panic and tell all the things that had happened to me. By then it was known that the skeletons of those 5 had been found in those ruins, on the basis of whose clothes they were being identified, and the police also felt that I had something to do with them somewhere. Because when people were questioned in our locality, they also told how those boys used to follow me. They were staring at me. Now my Babusa said, "Son, why didn't you tell us earlier?" So I started crying and I told them why I couldn't say anything. The same police also believed me because such scary things related to that village were heard every day. People in the neighborhood also believed it. Yes, there were some nasty people who were casting aspersions on me, but my family had full faith in me. I was very nervous. My family was comforting me. But what had I gone through? Who could understand better than me? Looking at my condition, until my condition gets better, the doctor told me to stay in the hospital. That night when I fell asleep after taking medicine after eating, in night I felt like someone was sitting next to me. Realizing this, I opened my eyes nervously and my senses blew away. A very terrifying phantom was sitting next to my bed and staring at me in a strange way. Seeing this, I started trembling. He looked at his mother to wake her up, but I didn't have the courage to wake them up. Then the phantom looked at me and smiled strangely. Now as he smiled strangely, his face became even terrifying. The whole was a skeleton of bones. There was something like a horn on the head. The nails of the hands were quite large. The eyes were so scary that don't even ask. Seeing him, I remembered in an instant, it was the same phantom that I saw perched on the wall above the ruins in the village of Kuldhara that night, which kept staring at me like this. Now I was very nervous. That's when the phantom grabbed my throat and waved me in the air. Seeing this, I started trembling. Now he looked at me and started laughing strangely. His laughter at that time was too scary, but it was like I was the only one who could hear it. That's when the phantom picked me up in the air and threw me aside.
As soon as I fell down on the floor, my mother woke up to hear the sound of my fall. Seeing me lying on the floor below, he ran to catch me and called out to my babusa, who was also sleeping on a bench outside the room. They came there. Then my eyes went to the phantom who was staring at me angrily in a strange way. I was scared to see him. Maybe he was the only one I could see. Just then the phantom walked strangely to the door. He turned and looked at me. Then he started smiling strangely and did not know where he went. My mother was repeatedly asked how I fell, but I was looking at the door nervously. Now both my mother and babusa grabbed me and put me back on the bed. At that time I was very scared because I still felt that the phantom would come back. So I was looking at the door, but now I couldn't see anything. My family was asking me what happened, but I couldn't say anything because of nervousness. Seeing my condition, my babusa asked me to rest, so I was trying to sleep with my mother's hand in my hands. Because at one point it seemed that what I saw was an illusion of the mind, so sometimes it seemed that something like this had actually happened to me. If there was an illusion of mind, how could I fall to the floor? There were scary things coming to my mind that made me very nervous. Thinking about all this, I fell asleep again. It had only been a while since I had fallen asleep that I felt as if someone else was lying next to me. I was trying to open my eyes to see this, but I couldn't open it. Seeing this, I wanted to give a voice to my mother, but then it felt as if someone had strangled me and my voice was stuck in my throat. Seeing this, I was very scared. Someone suddenly left my throat but was lying next to me. Seeing this, as soon as I tried to find out who it was, a rough, strange skin came into my hands, because of which my eyes opened screaming. Now panicking, I started looking around, but there was nothing. But hearing the sound of my screaming, my mother also woke up, and she came to me. Seeing my condition, started taking care of me. She herself started crying after seeing me nervous, but I was being comforted. As soon as the night finally passed, I was discharged from the hospital the next day. So my family brought me home. The people of the locality also came to know what had happened. They were also making up some different things. They were trying to talk to me too, but I couldn't say anything. I was now afraid of being alone. Every moment there was an unknown fear. I remember everything that had happened. In such a situation, when I fell asleep after dinner, I felt as if someone was making a strange kind of sound. As soon as I realized this, I opened my eyes in a hurry and saw that a terrible face was sticking out in the wall in front of me. His torso was not visible, but that face was visible. It was the same terrifying vampire face that was completely black. His teeth were very long and his eyes were very scary red. He smiled awkwardly at me. Seeing him, I started trembling when our pet dog sitting in the courtyard of our house started barking loudly. Hearing the sound of its barking, my family woke up. My mother looked at me. Seeing me nervous, she came to me. But I couldn't say anything because of fear, and now the ghost did not know where he had disappeared. When the sound of that dog barking started to be heard again and again, my babusa went to him. Then the dog grabbed my babusa's dhoti and dragged it towards the door of the house. My mother and I were watching all this from inside the house. At that time, my brother had gone to one of our relatives. That dog barking repeatedly, holding babusa's dhoti. Seeing this, babusa could not understand what the dog wanted to tell him. But when he was repeatedly grabbing babusa's dhoti, babusa also walked with him. So the dog took babusa to the door. My babusa saw that there were 2 dead chickens lying near the door of our courtyard. It is as if someone has eaten them badly. Seeing this, babusa was terrified. When he came inside the house quickly, my mother asked what happened. So he looked at me and told me everything. Hearing this, my mother was also very nervous. They were very worried about me.
At that moment I understood that all this must have been done by that scary ghost. That night passed somehow, but in the morning when we all came out of the room, we were shocked. Blood was splattered everywhere in the house. When I went to the kitchen, I saw that there were blood splatters on all the utensils. There were blood splatters in the courtyard. Seeing this, we were very nervous. Now everyone was afraid of the unexpected. My mother was terrified to see this. Babusa started comforting them and then went out of the house. Now the mother immediately started cleaning the whole house. I was just nervously watching everything. The whole house was cleaned with great difficulty. Now seeing all this happening and seeing my condition, my mother started worrying a lot because I felt that I had come from those ruins after seeing ghosts. In such a situation, nothing should happen to me. May no evil spirit hide with me. That is why they even put an amulet of God around my neck. The same Babusa was also asking some people about a Pandit or Tantrik to take me there because the way I was scared, they were afraid that some evil force might be after me. And they were also very upset because of what was happening in the house. They understood that some evil force was in their house and only a Pandit or Tantrik could get rid of all this. Slowly, this is how the evening fell. Then my mother fed me with her own hands and gave me medicine. Babusa had also arrived by then. He looked very upset. When my mother asked him what happened, so they told that from where my relation was fixed, they broke the relation because the news of my kidnapping had reached them and they believed that I was wrong. Anyway, people are like this. They send such news immediately. That is how someone brought the news of my disappearance by adding salt and pepper, because of which they broke this relation. It was also painful to hear the news of the sudden breakup of my relation, because my wedding preparations were going on in my house, and I also knew that because of all this, my Babusa would greatly be defamed. Now my mother was explaining to my Babusa that God does what he does. Hey, the lousy people who are doubting my daughter right now don't know what they will do. But the truth was that the mother was also suffering a lot. All of a sudden there was so much happening to me. Some strange things happening in the house too. Then the breakdown of my relation was nothing short of a shock for him. Then the family ate a little food. After taking medicine after eating, I was now afraid to sleep. I wouldn't let go of my mother's hand for a moment. So when I fell asleep, my family fell asleep. In the same way the night was passing, when we suddenly woke up in the middle of the night to hear a sound. It looked like someone was walking over the roof. We could hear someone walking. Seeing this, we were all terrified. Now my Babusa comforted me and said, I will come to see you now. He went up to the roof. After some time, when he came downstairs nervously, my mother asked him what happened. So it turned out that a blood-stained cloth was lying on the ceiling above. Seeing this, we were upset that how could anyone go to the roof? So how did that cloth get there? In such a situation, my family could not understand anything, but I thought it was all because of the phantom that was doing all this. Whenever I tried to tell something to my family, I used to get nervous, because of which I could not tell anything yet. Because so far everything that had happened to me in my heart, mind, the events that had happened in the ruins of Kuldhara, all the things were coming before my eyes in such a way that I was very scared at that time. In such a situation, the family members were very upset after seeing the strange events happening in the house. Now we were lying down to sleep again. I couldn't sleep because of the nervousness, but the night was still very much left. In such a short time, close the eyes to sleep. There was silence in the whole house now. So in such a short time, everyone fell asleep.
We had only been asleep for a short time when suddenly we heard someone shouting loudly from the courtyard of our house. Hearing this, I am not the only one who was flustered. My family woke up too. Now we looked at the direction from where the sound was coming. The sound was coming from the courtyard outside, and my mother panicked and started walking towards it. So Babusa stopped them, and now we looked out the window, so we were blown away because the same creepy phantom was screaming in the middle of the courtyard of the house, waving in the air in a loud, strange, terrifying voice. Seeing this, my family trembled because it was the first time they had seen the ghost. Then my Babusa immediately closed the windows and doors of the house and flatly refused to let anyone into the courtyard outside the house. But panicking, we didn't have a moment's peace anymore. We were very nervous that we didn't know what would happen now. That phantom will leave us alive or kill us. Nothing made sense. We were just getting nervous and praying to God. Then suddenly the sound of the phantom screaming stopped. Now there was silence in the whole house. Seeing this, my babusa nervously opened the window and tried to look outside. Suddenly a terrifying hand came into the room, the one that grabbed my babusa's throat. Seeing this, we all lost our senses, and Babusa started trying his best to free himself from the grip of that phantom. But the phantom, laughing horribly, wasn't leaving my boss's throat. Now I ran and started to free my hands like my babusa, my mother, who had put an amulet around my neck. As soon as the amulet touched the hand of that phantom, the phantom disappeared, making a strange kind of terrible sound. But Babusa was very scared. When his breath started to get upset, the mother immediately gave the water that was there to Babusa to drink. But the glass of water fell nervously from Babusa's hand. My mother was crying a lot. What was happening to us at that time was so scary. What was going through with us, we can't even tell. Now it was very difficult for us to pass every moment in panic. Somehow, in the morning, we came out of the house. The same was the case with our house yesterday. Even today, there were blood splatters all over the house. Seeing this, the family nervously took me out of the house, and we directly told Babusa about a tantric by one of his friends. Reached there. When we reached the tantric's place and knocked on the door, the tantric opened the door. He smiled at us and then asked us to come in. At that time, we were not able to say anything in panic. Then the tantric signaled us to sit down, so we sat down. Without us saying anything, the tantric looked at me and then placed his hand on my head and closed his eyes. After a while, he opened his eyes and looked at him again. It was lucky that it survived. Otherwise, whoever goes to Kuldhara village at night would not have survived. Hearing this, my family said something. Before he could do that, the tantric said, "I know what happened to him." Luckily for him, both his reputation and his life are intact. That is because once in that village too, the villagers had left that village overnight to save the honor of the daughter of the village. So what happened to a daughter in the same village who was killed fighting the soldiers of the ruler there? How do you allow anything to go wrong with it? When those Hemons wanted to rob him of his honor, the souls of the same villagers who, by the way, have become ghostly witches due to going to the phantom vagina with time, but due to the little goodness in them, their souls were tormented, and they came and saved both his life and honor, and punished those Hemons for their actions there. But when he was once there, the spirit of one of the evil soldiers who had died fighting with the people of the village who had become a ghost caught sight of it, and he was desperate to take his soul with him to get it. But at that time, in front of the souls of the people of the village, he could not do anything even if he wanted to. But he chased it all the way home. Even in the hospital, he tried to scare it and take it with him. But it was lucky that it survived at that time, and yesterday, due to the amulet of God's name, he could not do anything about it, even though he wanted the phantom, and failed to take it with him. But he will not find peace until he takes it with him. She is the spirit of an evil ghost who wants to make it a victim of her lust and is scaring you into taking it with her. At the same time, she can become an enemy of your life and can take your life at any time. Hearing this, my family was shocked and I started crying. Now I was thinking that once that village had become deserted because a daughter of that village had caught the dirty eye of the Jagadar of that village, and to save the honor of that daughter, the entire village took a decision and vacated the village overnight. There was a fight between the villagers and the soldiers for the honor of that daughter. Some villagers were killed, whose souls are wandering to this day. Today, those same souls saved both my honor and life, like the daughter of my village. By the way, people call Kuldhara village a village of ghosts, but to tell the truth, for me, it is a village of angels, where people don't help anyone in the slightest today. There, those ghosts protected both my life and honor, but I was very afraid just thinking about the ghost. Then my mother cried and folded her hands in front of the tantric and said, "Do something, Baba. You can do anything. Save my daughter's life. Get rid of that phantom by any means." Saying this, my family folded their hands and prayed to that tantric Baba to save both my life and honor. I was very scared at the time, who saw death in front of his eyes. Only the one with whom all this is happening knows what will happen to his heart. That was my situation. I was too scared. I was crying nervously. Then the tantric closed his eyes, meditated a bit. Then he opened his eyes and looked at me. Now taking some mustard seeds in his hand, closing his eyes, saying some mantras on them, he blew on them and gave those mustard seeds to my family members. Spread them around your house, and only by this new moon will the phantom come to collect it. Until then, don't take it out of the house. When that phantom comes to take it, these mustard seeds will block his way inside the house. This is no ordinary rye grain. There are mustard seeds tied to mantras. When they block the path of that phantom, the phantom will try to combat them to remove them. But this is rye grains. The more he tries to remove, the more it will become more and more. And in that case, he will come back by the new moon. But until then, he may try to scare you, try to hurt you, but you have to be careful that it does not leave the house. Once the new moon comes, after that, the phantom will return forever. Then there is no danger of any kind, and it will be absolutely fine. But just remember one thing, never go to those ruins again. Those souls are not visible in the light of day, but they see everything. If it goes into those ruins, then again the dirty eye of that phantom can fall on it, and anything can happen to it. Saying this, the Tantric Baba explained everything to my family, and he gave the mustard seeds. Now I was scared to come home. Every moment there was a fear of death. The same Tantric had also put an amulet around our neck to protect us. We had come home. My babusa took a bath as instructed by the Tantric Baba and wore only a dhoti in his waist and gave a mantra that the Tantric had told. As soon as they started spreading those mustard seeds around the house, chanting mantras in their minds, just then we heard someone shouting loudly from outside our house. But babusa didn't look back once, just trying to spread those grains, when suddenly there was a strong gust of wind and started circling around our whole house, trying to stop my babusa. My mother and I were inside the house. I was just looking out the window and watching all this, when I saw the phantom standing outside the house looking at us angrily. It was already evening. It was getting darker and darker. In such a situation, seeing that phantom, I started to get nervous. I looked at my mother nervously. I told them everything, but my mother couldn't see it.
Now Bubbles started coming in, spreading those mustard seeds around the whole house. Neither did the phantom try to pounce on him, for which he did his best to attack Babusa from behind with his sharp nails. But Babusa had that amulet in his neck, due to which he could not do anything even if he wanted. A phantom and Babusa had come inside the house. We were feeling nervous because of what had happened. Still, my mother cooked for everyone and we ate a little bit of the same. I was too scared to know what would happen. Then the sound of someone shouting loudly was heard from outside the house. Now we looked at him nervously and there was no one. Then we went to our room. I was very nervous, but for 2-3 days anyway, I had not been able to sleep properly, and today I was relieved that nothing would happen according to Tantric Baba's instructions, so I had also fallen asleep. When I fell asleep around 1 a.m., it felt like someone had made a noise from outside the house. Hearing that sound, we all woke up. We peeked out of the window but couldn't see anyone, but it was as if a man living in the neighborhood was calling out to my babusa about some work. Seeing this, the mother said that it was so late at night, but Babusa looked at us and said, "Don't get out of the house." Tantric Baba had told that the ghost will do anything to call us out by taking the form of someone, and anyway, tonight we all have to stay inside. We can leave in the morning, but that Kanchan cannot come out. For a long time, the man left the place with a loud voice, but Babusa did not respond to his words. Now we were very scared. Then I had to go to the toilet at night, so panicking, I woke up my mother. My mother brought me out of the house with her. There was a washroom on one side in the courtyard. When we went there, there was a tree on the outside of the courtyard. When we looked at him, we were shocked because a very scary shadow whose whole skin was dried and burnt. There was something like a horn on the head.
Seeing his red glowing eyes in the darkness, I knew in an instant that it was the same ghost that had been sitting on the tree staring at us. Seeing him, both of us started getting nervous. Then my mother said, "Don't worry, son. I am here." Now with my mother, I quickly went to the washroom and ran into the room. My heart rate was up. My mother was also very nervous. The ghost was sitting outside our house waiting for a housemaid to come out so that he can hurt them. That night passed somehow. The next morning, after worshiping God, Babusa left for his work. Mom was at home. But in the afternoon, the mother went to give tiffin to Babusa, so from outside the house I was called by a sister-in-law who lives in my neighborhood, and she said that your mother has slipped and fallen on the way. Hearing this, I nervously went out, and when I remembered the words of that tantric Baba, I nervously slipped backwards. But that sister-in-law was saying it again and again, but I didn't pay attention to him because my mother, Babusa, also told me not to step out of the house no matter what happens. Now my heartbeat was big. I was worried about my mother. I don't know what my mother will be like, what condition she will be in. Then after some time, my mother came and saw me nervous and said, "What happened, son?" So I told them the whole thing. Hearing my words, my mother was also a little frightened and said, "All this must have been done by that ghost. Son, never leave the house until the new moon arrives." Saying this, my mother started explaining to me. When Babusa returned in the same evening, he told that he had asked the man who had given him the voice in the morning, about which he told that he had not given any such sound. Now we understood in an instant that the phantom would do its best to scare us. By the way, the phantom was trying every way to hurt us. Maybe he would have become an enemy of Ma Babusa's life, but he had that amulet around his neck, and in such a situation he could not do anything. Slowly, this is how the days passed. Every night the ghost would scream, sometimes cry, sometimes it seemed as if someone was calling. Such sounds were heard. In view of those circumstances, my Babusa wrote a letter and refused to let my brother come. In such a situation, now the brother was also going to come till the new moon. By the way, the phantom also gave us a voice in the voice of a brother, but now we were not going to fall for their deception. That's how the days went by. Now the new moon was coming. On the day of Amavasya, it started to get even more terrifying outside the house. The phantom began to scream loudly. Sometimes he started screaming. It was as if our neighbors could not hear any of the phantoms, only we could hear it. The phantom started making every effort to scare us, and finally the new moon came out. The day after the new moon, we knew that the phantom would have returned, but still there was a fear that the phantom might come back. But as the Tantric Baba had said, so it happened. Now the phantom did not try to scare us or cause us any harm. Perhaps he had returned to the same ruins of Kuldhara forever. Slowly the days went by like this. Because of what had happened, we all got to hear a lot of things. People had made up all sorts of things that caused a lot of trouble to my family and me. But my family was relieved that nothing wrong had happened to me. My honor was saved. Then, wherever my Babusa would talk about my relation, everyone would refuse to hear the news of my kidnapping, because of which my family was upset. And finally, even though he didn't want to, he had to marry me to a man who was about 10 years older than me and the father of a daughter. His wife had died. The family was also fine. My family was forced to do this relation because there was no other kind of relation for me. By the way, he was having a lot of trouble making this decision at that time, but that was probably what was destined for me. Then I got married and moved to my in-laws' house. Even if I was married to a man who was already married, but in my in-laws' house, I got everyone's love. Whenever any of the neighbors or anyone tried to point a finger at my character, my husband gave them a befitting reply. In such a situation, with their love and belongingness, I started forgetting all my troubles, and what was a little uncomfortable in my mind and in the minds of my family, that I was married to a married man, that too is now decreasing. With the passage of time, I became a mother of 2 children. Today, my stepdaughter, whom I love more than my own daughter, and I am having a good life with 2 sons. My daughter is married, the sons are not married yet. But even after all these years, I have not forgotten all that happened to me. Even today, when I think about all of them, I get very nervous. Sometimes I think that if those ghosts hadn't helped me that night, I probably wouldn't have survived by now. At that time when this incident happened to me, to tell the truth, that time was very painful for me and my family. Even today, when I think about all of them, I have tears in my eyes. we know how we spent that time. I think that after all, I had to pay the price for being beautiful or being a girl in such a way that my honor was saved, but I couldn't avoid being tainted on my character. I will never forget what happened to me, and I will never forget it. But after that, I never went to Kuldhara village. Even today, when I hear the name of Kuldhara village, or even its name comes to my mind, that night starts revolving in my heart and mind.
So friends, this was our story today. How did you like the story? Please do tell me by commenting in the comment box. And also, those who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I will meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.